Hi, my name is Shuya from Lyndex Nikken, and welcome to Shop Talk. When you're working on a workpiece, do you run into short tool life forcing you to constantly change cutting tools and collet chucks? Or how about poor surface finish on a workpiece? Well, let's find some solutions for you. Here is one potential solution. This is a cutout of an SK collet chuck. I'm going to point out some key features that makes SK unique from your traditional tool holders. First, let's look at the nut here. The nut is called a titanium nitrided nut or a tin nut. What makes this nut different is this gold ring you see here. The ring pushes down on the collet parallel to the center line of the tool holder, which considerably improves the rigidity, which makes the finishing quality of the cut much better compared to the traditional collet chucks. The narrow body of the SK collet chuck allows for access to tight spaces and hard to reach areas. Here is a collet of an SK collet chuck. The 8-degree taper SK collet provides double the clamping force and greater precision than ER collet chucks. The contact surface between collet and chuck is increased, and the direction of the force allows for better gripping force. Now, let's compare the SK to a traditional ER collet chuck. The most noticeable difference between the two is the clearance. Because of the narrow body of the SK collet chuck and nut, the SK has a better depth of cut on axial and radial cuts compared to an ER. The other important part is the titanium nitrided bearing nut compared to the ER nut. When you look at how the nut presses down on the collet, the nut presses diagonally towards the center line of the tool holder. On the other hand, the tin nut presses the SK collet down with a force parallel to the center line of the tool holder. Because of this, the SK collet will not misalign or rock within the tool holder. Many of you are probably thinking, how does the SK perform compared to an ER? Well, let's go to a resident engineer to perform a test cut. Alright, so now we're here in front of our machine with our resident engineer, Eric Hartman, who is going to tell us the true benefits of an ER versus an SK.
Thanks, Shuya. So with our SK collet systems, you'll see improved runout accuracy, which will improve tool life, better gripping strength, which will prevent cutter pullout, and better vibration dampening characteristics, which will give you better performance in the cut.
All right, after hearing that, let's put it all in the test cut.
Okay, so here we have our ER-SK test cut that we like to do. We're going to be cutting a 1018 mild steel. We're going to be running both of these tool holders at 3,200 RPM, which is about 420 surface footage for a half-inch end mill. The first tool you're going to see is a competitor's ER32 with a solid nut. The first thing you can notice is there's a massive amount of chatter in this cut, not only in the straightaways, but also as it goes around the corners as well. Sounds pretty bad. Let me grab some chips here. And clean off the table. Now we're going to run that exact same cut, just a mirror image, with our SK16. And here we go. You'll notice right away that it's significantly quieter. There's almost no chatter in the cut, which is going to give you improved tool life and better cutting performance overall. Let me grab some chips again. All right, now we're going to run the exact same two cuts, but we're going to increase the feed rate about 33%. So instead of going 30 inches a minute, we're going to be running at 40 inches a minute. So we're going to run the ER first again. Here we go. Again, massive amounts of chatter. Grab some chips one more time. And again, we'll run the SK, same cut, 40 inches a minute. Nice, stable, smooth cutting, no chatter. Let's grab some chips, and then we'll take a look at the chips and the part. All right, Shuya, let's take a look at these chips. So here we have the chips from the ER at 30 inches a minute and 40 inches a minute, and then the SK at 30 and then 40. So if you take a close look at these, you can see that the chips on the ER side are extremely frayed and jagged like a feather. And on the SK side, they're extremely smooth and consistent. This is really the physical manifestation of all the chatter that we heard in that cut. All right, let's take a look at this part. So here we have the 2 passes from the SK and the 2 passes from the ER. On the SK side, we have a smooth, almost mirror finish on the walls and the floors. On the ER side, we see all that chatter that we heard. We have a lot of parallel lines on the walls and swirl marks on the floors. You could use the SK as an almost finished surface, whereas the ER, you'd have to come back and recut this.
Well, Eric, thank you for doing the test cut for us.
Of course.
Is there anything else you can elaborate about the SK?
Sure. So whether you're milling or tapping because of the gripping strength, or drilling or reaming because of the runout accuracy, you're always going to see better cutting performance with our SK collet chucks.
All right, thank you so much. To recap what we've seen in this video, incorporating the SK lineup versus ER in your shop will save your shop time and money in the long run due to its efficiency and superiority. That's it for me on the SK collet chuck. I'm Shuya Washido. Thank you for watching Shop Talk. If you like this video and want to see more like this in the future, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys for watching.